I beg to present for second reading a bill shortly entitled Security Interest in Movable Property.
The passage of the Security Interest in Movable Property Bill is intended to support micro, small and medium enterprises and is a critical step towards a cohesive and inclusive system to promote access to finance and growth within the small business sector.
The seamstress that has 4 machines, sewing machines, can now use those machines as security to get a loan. That never existed before, but it can now, Mr. Speaker.
Shama Mathre is the economist with the National Competitiveness and Productivity Council, spearheading this reform.
What I think is important and different about this new bill and this project is that it ensures that the proper, structured and orderly, comprehensive legislative framework is established to guide those transactions. And so the banks and credit unions and other financial institutions must adhere to the administrative rules and guidelines and regulations contained within the provisions of the new bill.
The bill also calls for the establishment of an online movable property collateral registry. The collateral registry is seen as a win-win mechanism for both debtors and creditors. This online, centralized register of movable assets is only for assets that have been secured as collateral for loan financing.
At present, St. Lucia does not have a registry of movable assets, and so it adds further structure to those transactions as any banker or creditor will be able to undergo a search or register a claim within the collateral registry from any electronic device.
Mathran declared that St. Lucia is the forerunner and pilot member state within the OECS to develop and draft this landmark piece of legislation.
And so while many of the other countries are in the early stages of drafting and developing, St. Lucia is at an advanced stage, and so they're looking to St. Lucia as a good example and a model to follow from.
The International Finance Corporation, IFC, the largest global development institution focused on the private sector in emerging markets, is also working closely with the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank to promote the adoption of a harmonized legal and institutional framework for secured transactions. This includes a regional web-based collateral registry for movable assets for the Eastern Caribbean Currency Union. As part of this effort, the ECCB and IFC proposed the adoption of a uniformed legislative model for secured transactions across the ECCU.
I think generally this is the type of reform work and project that any competitiveness council would endorse or get involved in, as unleashing credit to the private sector gives them the opportunity to take up projects within their firms that decrease their overhead costs, increase their efficiencies, empower them to export to other regional and international countries. And when you have a private sector of firms collectively working towards improving their competitiveness, it does augur well for country competitiveness, and this has the potential to propel your economic growth in the right direction while ensuring that the general economic well-being of the country is enhanced.
The Security Interest in Movable Property Bill is the culmination of years of work and numerous consultations with key stakeholders such as the Chamber of Commerce, Bankers Association, Bar Association, and Consumers Association. The new law was spearheaded by the National Competitiveness and Productivity Council, with technical advisory support from the International Finance Corporation and the World Bank Group.
Thank you very much.
For the National Competitiveness and Productivity Council, Glenn Simon reporting.
Need not be specific